Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone who is actually watching. Welcome to Campbell's Comments for another live stream. Just trying to get everything up and going. Greg Gangle trying to ring me right now. Not ideal timing there from young Greg, but that's okay. Welcome, and I said there in the intro that we're going live for the last 30 minutes of the online sale here today for Nutrien. Thankfully that's a little bit behind. Please, if you're watching on YouTube as well, please feel free to get involved. I've got a few things going on. We've got about 10 people joined in, so I encourage everyone to get involved with the conversation and be a part of it. Anyone that hasn't been to an online auction for Nutrien, they work a little bit differently to what other ones are working. So I think I'm back up and going. If there is anyone watching, it'd be handy just to give me the thumbs up. But if I give myself a thumbs up, just got to work out where to do it to, but I'm pretty sure. Yep, give myself the thumbs up. So we're back up and going on both channels. So I apologise for that. Not exactly sure what happened then, but technical glitch, I hope, and won't happen again for some reason. The whole thing disconnected then. So yep, anyway, we're back. Everything looks to be running. I had about 15 people watching. Now we're down to about 4 or 5. So anyway, please get back involved if you're wishing to understand how it goes. We've got 5 lots only in this online sale, and I've actually got my great adversary. He's just getting himself ready, so I won't overtax him just yet. He won't be able to hear me, but he can now. I'll just hopefully he can hear me, and just tell him that his audio will be coming through, Daniel, when you do talk. So he's not far off, but we've got 5 lots ready to go through for the sale tonight. Just give me the thumbs up, Daniel, if you're all good to go. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. We just tried a different link. He's looking very anxious there at the minute, but he'll come on in a second. This is what happened. Someone said to me they like the way that I do this so unscripted and out of control. Daniel, any joy there, mate? He's still trying. He should be able to get everything to work, and I'm hoping he can very, very shortly, but he won't be far off joining us, I hope. Otherwise we'll have to go through another link. No, he knows what he's doing. He's giving me the thumbs up. He's got stuff sorted out. Either that or he's watching me on Facebook. Right, while Daniel's getting that stuff done, as soon as you talk, Daniel, I will actually hear you, so don't you worry about that. Right at the minute, this is the bidding. The last bid was at 5:15 on lot number 2, so some substantial bids there at the minute. We've got lot number 1, colt out of Let Us Grin. We'll talk about him very, very shortly. 43,000, 23,000 for the Golden Showgirl colt. A colt prepared by Shane Sanderson. Nearing reserve now is the Pretty in Pink filly, who is by Yankee Rockstar at 20,000. 9,500 now for the Fantasia colt, lot number 4, and Counterfeit Cash at 8,000. And you can see 2 of those are nearing their bids. Daniel, any joy over there, mate? I can see your lips moving, but you can't see mine, so he just can't get his audio going. I can possibly try the other link, which may be the better option if you want me to do that. He's still talking, he's still trying. All right, I'm going to go back to the...
How's that?
That is much better. Daniel Hibbard, welcome.
I just had to find which button to press, that's all.
Well, welcome to the show, my friend, and I've just got to... You're a little bit blurry there, though. I don't like that one as much. I'm just going to do some things with Daniel behind just do something very different. Just excuse me for 1 second while I do this, and we'll get Daniel up and going very, very shortly. Do that. I have to get rid of that one. Got to go back. Yep, want to leave that, and I want to hit start on that, and Daniel should be joining me very shortly, I hope. That's much better. That's a much better picture. Daniel, you haven't done one of these before, we've got 8 people online. We've still got about 20 minutes to go. They don't close at 6 o'clock. They go right through to 6 o'clock, and we will cover off on those horses at the minute. No one can physically see you just yet, but I'm working on that, okay? Just leave that part to me for 1 second. I've got Yo come online. Daniel, hopefully you can hear him. Hello, Em. Something happened then and I can't hear Em. Now we can. Em, are you there now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Very good. I had a slight glitch. I crashed just as I went live. Never good. It's never good. Daniel Hibbard's here with us as well, Em, and you can talk to Daniel while I get his screen all ready for him, because it's hard because Daniel didn't knock off work until 6 o'clock. So I do appreciate, or 5:30, sorry. So I do appreciate him coming in. A few bids happening, Em.
Yeah, and I've just got another feature for you. On that Ready to Run, see how there's the squares and then you've got like little squares, big squares, and then like a picture icon up in the corner?
Yep.
Press on the picture icon.
Well, hang on. I'm getting myself... I've got to get things organised so I can get Daniel in here, is what I'm trying to do. I don't know what's going to happen here. So where do you want me to go to? Hang on. I got 10 things going. Someone said they enjoy the way I do this, Em, and it's out of control. I don't know why people enjoy it. It's just
chaos.
It is organised chaos. Where is the thing I'm trying to find? That's it there. Okay, so I don't have Daniel with me. Why don't I have Daniel with me? All right, if I click onto that one. Right, Daniel, you're not far off. I saw you sneaking in that little can of Coke. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about that at all. You're not too far off at all. No one else saw it, and if I was a gentleman, they wouldn't have been told about it, Daniel, but no.
Yeah, you're not, though.
No, very definitely not. Right, so now Daniel Hibbard, welcome, mate. You are definitely there, and now I am going to go, I'm not organised. That's the one I need to shut off. We'll go back to that. Actually, got to go back to the studio mode. So Daniel's there with me, and now if we go back to, no, we don't want that one. Daniel was on his own. Now we're there. Okay, Em. Oh.
Yeah.
It's not there on this site. That's no good. So I've got to go back now to this one after all of that and put this one on. Okay, and you want me to hit on that little button over there. So which one do you want me to hit on?
See how there's the little the squares?
I can't do it, unfortunately. The way I've done this, I cannot do that, Em. It won't let me. It won't let me have the squares. So what does that do, Ems?
Well, I'll send you a photo of it. It puts the photo up just above where it has like, what just looks like a little photo up.
Of the lot numbers?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And let Paul know that.
No, Paul doesn't know it, and unfortunately I can't do a lot about it. AM, we've had another bid too, so we've got 3 nearing the reserves, because the counterfeit cash underneath us there, she's actually nearing reserve as well. So there is a little bit going on there actually. So I'll just try and can't do that either. Not having. And
I would have called earlier, but I had sheep out in the front lawn, which is not ideal when they're not.
You had sheep or teeth?
Sheep.
Well that's okay. I thought you said you had teeth for a minute, and I was like, So we've now got 3 nearing their auction price. I'm just moving stuff around. We've got some people watching on YouTube. Please feel free to type in a message. We've got a lot of people watching on Facebook. Don't sit there and say nothing. There's always plenty going on. Em, I'll let you go for a minute. I'll talk to Daniel. We want people to click on that little picture icon that's above there. I can see it, but unfortunately I can't touch it.
That's all right. I'm going to I'll put the photo in underneath on your Facebook Live, and I will catch up with you guys later.
We'll talk to you probably in about 16 minutes. Very good, doll. And then I had a funny text message as well. So thanks, mate. Thank you very much for joining me. I do appreciate it, because it's been a little bit late, because you knocked off work at 5 and you managed to get here at 5:30.
I've done reasonably well. So and after the last 4 days I've had, it's been a bit full on. So good to be on, and good to look at this. These sales, and it's good to have basically the ticker there going along, and you can sort of see the bids, and it tells you basically, if they're at near reserve. So it's really, really informative, really good, and getting the live play-by-play as it happens.
So you can just see up in the top left-hand corner of that screen, it's there on both Facebook and YouTube at the minute. The last bid was on lot number 4, so it actually was 9,500. I saw it just before. It's now, so it was the last bid, so that's your last bid, and that bid was at 542. So people are able to be aware of it. The beauty of this sale is where the chaos really comes, Daniel, is once we get to 6 o'clock, because it continues to reset. After that, every time there's a bid put in. And we've got some serious bids here. Like we've got 2 horses near their reserves over $20,000. So I would imagine there's some people that are pretty keen on a couple of these horses. So it's going to get pretty free, pretty willing a bit later on. I've got no doubt about that. So there's going to be a little bit of fun. What I might do very quickly, we'll go through the 5 lots, Daniel, and by all means chime in at any stage. You probably haven't had a chance to have a look at them. Lot number 1 is a really interesting little horse, a rip and going little horse. He's by Tintin in America out of Lettuce Grin, who's a grin from ear to ear mare. Beautiful pacer. Paces like an absolute Trojan. A just lovely horse. I think he zipped home in under 29 the other day. He's a full brother to Let Us Trot. Now the interesting part about Let Us Trot, went for the sales last year as a trotter. Has had 4 starts now, and you're going to tell me where he finished on Saturday night. I think.
Well, he was driven. He was driven pretty aggressively in the race on Saturday night. He'd settled back in the field, and he sort of loomed up down the back straight, and was he was. They drove him to try and win the race, and obviously it didn't didn't play out that way. He's ended up running 4th. Behind Plymouth, Chubb, Courage, Stride, and More Wanted. If he draws a decent gate, he drew 11. If he drew a decent gate, he probably. It's hard to say whether he beats Plymouth Chubb the way it ran, but every chance he certainly picks up second prize money there in that race. But he was a really good run, and he's shown real good potential. He's only had the 4 starts now for 2 wins and a second. So he's certainly done nothing wrong, but just probably cruelled by the draw there on Saturday night. He's
a lovely horse. Myo's just sent me through those photos. I wish I had got that site up in that way, because it's actually really, really good the way that operates. But for people on YouTube, please get involved, guys, on YouTube. Send in a chat if you want to ask anything. Same with Facebook. There's no hassles there at all. She's also the mother of Dollar Bell, who's won 2 races as well, and it's all about me. It's a good family, prepared by, I just lost it, David Thorne. Luckily that came back very, very quickly. David Thorne at New South for Mick Lenigan. He's selling 2 lots. He's also got lot number 3, but he's a lovely type, this horse, but it's a good story. And first horse to make the races sold by Nutrien is Let Us Trot, coming out with 2 wins. So that's a good start. That's a good way to start things, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It is indeed. We still haven't had any more bids since I've put the screen down, but you can actually see it's just there in front of me. That's okay. Lot number 2, I got up to see this one. Shane Sanderson, our friends at Charlton. Daniel, they've got this horse here. He's by Always Be Mickey, which everyone loves and gets very, very keen to, and the likes, out of the mare called Golden Showgirl, who was a ripper mare herself. She went 55.9. She was a winner of 10 races. 4 of those were at 2. She won $53,000 in stake money. But then she's left Smooth Showgirl, who was the winner of $373,000. Naomi Maloney, winner of $72,000. Power of Faith, 156, winning a 2-year-old heat of the Breeders' Challenge. The Weekend, 6 wins, and Heavenly Island, 2 wins. But I will get a little bit cheeky with this one, because the further up you go, the more black type there is. Horses like Meningate and the likes, there's plenty of them scooching around. And then you go to the 4th dam, who's She's Cool, Aleppo Sunrise, 4 big men, another big men. It's a very, very current family. It's a great family. There's plenty of horses in there you'd know, mate.
Well, there is, and I remember She's Cool, because when I worked for Barry Quigley, we had a mare out of She's Cool. Wasn't much good. I think it was probably the worst one out of the mare, to be fair. But she did win a race. But that was she was part of a really good family, and as you can see, the breeding is very strong. So a very nice type for sure.
It's one of the joys of breeding, isn't it? We had one of the slowest ones out of the family, a Smolder, direct family by Village Jasper, and I think he won one race. Was all he won, and it wasn't for me. So that's the joys of breeding. We all know that. We get used to it, so that's the way it works. Lot number 3, this horse is nearing its reserve as well, and this horse is a big horse. It's one of the first foals of Yankee Rockstar. He was a beautiful horse himself, but he's leaving cracking types, Daniel.
I'm just looking at the photo. I'm not sure how tall the girl is that's holding the horse, but he looks quite large. So for anyone that's having, and looks a treat. So yeah, just going on looks alone looks a nice type.
Pretty in pink. She was by stature. He was probably under what's the word I'm looking for? Wasn't as well represented as probably he should have been. He was a horse that stood in New South Wales, and he left some ripping horses. And I can't think of the name of the filly that was raced by our man in Mildura, and I can't even think of his name. I can see his face, and I'm going to feel really, really bad. But that'll come to me one day. But Pretty in Pink herself, she was a ripping horse. David Miles and Lisa Miles, they had her for a while. She was a winner of 15 races herself. She contested the Australian Oaks. She must have won the Shepparton Oaks, a heat of the New South Wales sires. So she's had 13 foals. 12 is currently a 3-year-old. 12 foals, 3-year-old and older. 12 have raced. 11 have won. You can't ask for much more than that, can you?
That's the big thing, like especially with the the bonuses and things like that. You sort of look at that stat, and that tells you that the likelihood of you picking up a bonus somewhere along the track is pretty strong. So fair chance to get a recoup some of your outlay, that's for sure. Yeah,
definitely, and it's a current family. Like, there's good horses there. Hit and Giggle was a winner of 220,000, 28 races so far in America, and set a best time of 49.4. So that's pretty impressive. Man to Man, major bonus. He was a beautiful horse here in Victoria. No, he wasn't. He's a New South Wales horse. Sorry, got the wrong horse, and it's a she, so I've definitely got the wrong horse. Tritty Bang Bang, Heston Zoolander. It's all current. Tritty Bang Bang is in America, I think, by Renaissance Man as well going forward. So there's plenty of current right at the minute in that family. It's a very, very exciting family. That's lot number 3, and it is nearing the reserve as well. So don't miss out on that one. It's the second of the Mick Lenigan owned horses, and it's also, again, David Thorne is the preparer of this horse here, that horse there. Daniel Jack, he prepares the Son of American Ideal, which you cannot get into. Daniel, fully booked. Reserve has been met for a long time. He's been fully booked for the last 2 years, stands for $12,500, and at the minute he's at $10,000, this horse. So he is nearing his well, he's not actually nearing his reserve, but he shouldn't be too far off it, I wouldn't have thought, but he may be. I don't know that. Out of the Art Major, Marion Fantasia, who's out of Full Fantasy, and that's another great family, mate.
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, Fantasia, the mare won 6 races and the first foal, so it's a bit of a you're taking a bit of a punt there, but certainly from going back through the family, it's littered with good ones, particularly down the track. You've got Self Denials in there, and that always reads well when you're looking at someone like some of her progeny.
I was having all sorts of trouble. It wouldn't move up for me, but I got it just as you started saying. Self-denial, major denial. Yeah, there's black type everywhere. But the reds, of course, with Nutrien, they update their catalogues every Monday. So all those reds there are just current. They could have happened last weekend. They've obviously happened since the catalogue went to print, but it was only printed about a month ago. So they all go there. So it's a very current. So 4 2-year-old wins there for Not to Be Denied. Dominio has had 1 2-year-old win, and Stelina, another New South Wales horse, has had 2 New South Wales wins, so 3-year-old wins, sorry. So it's very current family as well. Had a little bit of trouble jumping shadows at Shepparton in his run around, but he was a nice enough horse, that's for sure. Very quiet horse. He was good to just be around, I must say. So lovely type, and as I say, you cannot get into American Ideal. His book is fully booked. So, and then the last one is bred by Madawi Lodge. Darren Ray prepared this horse here, and they are sellers. It's by 4-Star Shark out of Counterfeit Cash, mate.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up the.
I threw him under the bus. there.
Yeah.
It's not unusual for me to do.
Yeah, won 6 races, and again, this is the first foal, so this is an opportunity to get in with the family here, and there's some plenty of winners through that. The Grand Dam was Fine Fake Cash, has had 9 go to the races, and 8 of them are winners, and 7 in 2 minutes. So again, that's pretty good stats if you're looking to go to the races with confidence to pick up a bonus.
Yep, and as you can see down the bottom too, all these horses in Nutrien Sales Classic eligible as well, because they are going through a Nutrien sale. So it's the daughter of 4-star Shark Medaille Lodge. The interesting part about all these people here are they're all sellers, except for Shane Sanderson, but the guys that Shane is preparing the horse for, they are sellers. So they've always sold. They've reached out to me a few times. So that's one of the things they're very clear on that they're after doing. So we had a bid about 4 minutes ago, and I would say it was on lot number 2 that's got up to 28,000 now. So if you're bidding on lot number 2, you're not far away. Well, we've got a couple of minutes. How was your weekend, mate, in sunny Sandown?
It was, I've had a big weekend, big Friday night, calling the heats of the Melbourne Cup, and then the box draw yesterday. It's been a crazy week, and then capped off by calling the races, and then the box draw. But it's to be involved in the event itself, the Cup, the Melbourne Cup for greyhounds. It's quite surreal, but I just see the passion that people have for the sport. It's the same as what it is in harness racing when you have the bigger races. It gets you going, and the people are heavily involved in it, and they're invested in the sport, and it's just awesome. And like the racing there on Friday night, the heats of the Cup, it was just outstanding. So basically, for those that aren't aware, 8 heats of the Melbourne Cup, you have to win your heat to get into the final. It's $500,000 to the winner, and for the first time in 66 years, and the first Cup heat that I call, there's a dead heat. So it's through everybody on Friday night. They're all going for the rule books after the race. What happens now? What goes on? And as it turns out, the rule is that out of the 8 heats, whoever is the slowest would be the first reserve. And as it turned out, the dead heaters were quick enough, so they both got through. And one of the, I think it was heat 3 or 4, was actually the slowest time. So, and when I say slowest, it was only the slowest by 0.01 of a second. There was nothing in it, but unfortunately, it's the reserve, and won't run for the half mil on Friday night.
Very unfortunate for connections, isn't it? Like to have that happen, you win a heat and you don't make what it. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Like 66 years of racing the Cup, and it's the first time they've had a dead heat, and it was just it was crazy. And I mean, in my call, I called the race. I actually called the favourite winning. I thought he just held on, not by much, but I thought
was it Kaplan? Was that Kaplan?
Kaplan's, yeah. Just my angle, he looked like he'd got his head ahead there first, but the dog on his outside actually had its head really right down on the line, and was able to share the prize. But look, I'm really looking forward to Friday night. The box draws certainly made it a very interesting final. And it's all going to be on free-to-air TV, so I've got all that to look forward to as well. And I think I'm going to be pretty wrecked by Friday, at the end of Friday night, and then heading home for the weekend. So it's but yeah, really looking forward to it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's a bit of fun, and I do appreciate you coming on this, but you do enjoy it. You're a bit of an addict as far as doing some of these things. That'd be fair to say, would it not?
Yeah, pretty close to it.
It's there's always things going on. That's for sure. I just rejigged my picture just so we don't look too bad. We haven't got long to go by my reckoning. I've got about 1:05, so be interesting to see how this starts to hot up very shortly. Anyway, Daniel, hopefully it will. Like I said, we've got 3 of them very close to their reserves, so. You know, if you're there and you're the second bidder, you want to put one in. What does happen is some people have bids, so now it's on timer. So they're just flashed up there across the top of us. This will be a 60-second timer. Each time a bid is placed, it will reset. So it has started, and it is off and going now. Now, don't forget, if you are watching this on Facebook, and especially if you're watching it on YouTube, be aware you're behind, and it will catch you out just that little bit, because it's there's a 1 minute timer that will hold you back. So just be aware of that.
We're on a slight delay too. By the time speaking, this gets to Facebook, it's a little bit of a delay. Not huge, but it's enough.
Well, Facebook's about 30 seconds. YouTube can be closer to a minute, and it's incredible. And it does throw a couple of the curveballs up, I must say. So just trying to see, I might be able to just rejig us a little bit, Daniel, hopefully to be able to see everything, but I don't think we have to. We don't have to by the looks, because everything's on there. So 17 seconds, so we haven't had a bid. We're very close to it. Hopefully we get a bid very shortly, otherwise that's going to be it, which will be very, very unusual. 5 seconds, it just reset. I think that's the computer does that. Gives people a couple of chances to do it, but I wouldn't be holding your breath for too long. If you're sitting back thinking, no, I've got time to have another go, because you only got 42 seconds. Good luck to the connections, I must say, that are sitting there watching this. It must be very nerve-wracking for them, especially the three that are very near to their reserves: the filly out of Counterfeit Cash, the Golden Showgirl, and the Pretty in Pink. 28,000, 8,000 and 20,000.
It's a bit like waiting for a photo finish.
Yep, it just reset again. We did have a bid actually, so we've gone to 29,000 now for lot number 2. The colt out of Golden Showgirl. So
does that reset for all the lots? It's not just that one?
Yep. Yeah. So all lots finish at the same time. So I got to apologise, because I'm even ahead of you. so yeah, I just realised, unless you've logged on to the actual Nutrien catalogue and watching it that way, I can tell you what goes on just a little bit earlier. I'm down to 27 seconds, so technically I ought to talk that way, but yeah, I just flicked over to my Facebook page, and I'm like, that's a little bit behind. I can actually tell you, Daniel, how far. Yeah, so 30 seconds YouTube is behind Facebook, which is incredible. So yeah, but as I said, please feel free to get involved. We will discuss some of the races over the weekend while we're here and going live, Daniel, and we'll get a bit of a recap off M. We just reset, and I'm pretty confident that's a computer reset, because it did a bit funny. Please bid. There is no minimum action running time. Please bid. So I suspect we're not far off closing. They're looking at the action on the computer. I know there was quite a few people who were registered, but yeah, 36 seconds left, mate.
It's not long, and yeah, you want to make sure you get your bid through, because yeah, you could drop out, and that's the last thing you want.
Yep, and we want people to bid. We want people to purchase these horses, both for the vendors and people trying to sell them. It's gone down to 17 seconds now, 15 seconds, so it's gone into the yellow, and hopefully for connections we can get a bid shortly. We're in the red now. I love the way it changes colours: green, amber, red. You know what's coming, that's for sure. And it did just restart, so they're just trying to encourage. Oh, actually, maybe the colt out of Let Us Grin might have. Oh no, lot number 2 was the last one to get a bid a minute ago. So, and it's just taking its little while. These beautifully bred horses, and they're all ready to race, Daniel. And the beauty of this is, 2 months' time you can race them.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, the opportunity's there to, you know, do a bit of work with them leading into the new season, and you know, try and get your money back a little bit quicker than, you know, what you'd have to normally do. You've got a horse that's fit enough to trial, and you can sort of, you know, get a feel for how it's going, and yeah, the opportunity's there to cash in early. It's you know, crazy not to at least have a crack at it.
Down to 5 seconds now. Again, it just reset again. So they won't do this for much longer, I know that. So if you're sitting back playing a game, I don't know if I'd be doing it for much longer, I must say. So wouldn't want to be an auctioneer, would you? I don't know if my mate our mate Cam Bray's online or not. I haven't had any comments at all. We've got about 15, 16 people watching us live on Facebook, but no chats. No one's got back to us at any chats. If you are on and you do enjoy it, give us a yell. If you're interested in buying one, give us a yell as well. So there's no problems there. Even if you just enjoy the experience, or the people that are on YouTube, which I'm really happy we've got people on YouTube. I must say it's something I want to build up. Myself and Daniel and Troy Harley, we've got some ideas, so we're going to try and build the YouTube channels up so as our overseas visitors, guests can watch it on their big screen TVs. 10 seconds again, and we haven't had a bid for a little while. It's been about 5 minutes since we've had a bid, so just reset one more time. We might try and get hold of Em and just see what happens here. She may or may not answer. She might be busy. That's very loud when you do that, isn't it, Daniel? Sorry about that.
Just clear me ears.
Everyone else might have been in the same boat. She generally sends me this little text message when she's on the phone, so she could be busy, I would say, behind the scenes. We won't annoy her. She'll ring me back if she's free, so that's her answer machine. So I suspect they're working people behind the scenes. So it was a bit unfortunate. They only got the 5 horses for this ready to run, mate. And I have her now. Hello, Em. Not there yet. Why does it do that? Technology does these things to me all the time. Hello, Em.
No, it's you. It's just you.
Are you there, Em?
Yeah, how you going?
Good. Not a lot of action just at the minute. We've got 3 horses knocking on the door, though.
Oh, I had to go and feed the little bloke, and I had you in my. I was listening to you the whole time. So when you were ringing, I had to run down the hallway and threw the food at him, and said, "I'm gonna go, ready to run."
Poor old Jack. He gets it a hard time all the time.
Oh dear.
They won't keep resetting this for a lot longer, will they? If people are sitting back watching the bids, it won't continue for much longer.
No, so as you said, it'll reset when people have a bid, obviously. But then if people drop off, it resets just to give them that chance to, in case they're in bad service and they need the logbox back on, and so that they won't miss a bid. So sometimes that's going on as well. We're in the red now.
Yeah, we've been in the red a few times, unfortunately. It just keeps resetting, so we just haven't had a bid for a little while. But this isn't all over. Once these horses go, the ones that are near the reserve, yourself and Mark, basically get on the phone and start working the phones afterwards, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So Grace has been in touch with us this afternoon to let us know. I think we had about nearly 20 registered buyers for this sale, which I was really happy with. Obviously, you're always happy when there's more people registered than there are horses. So that was really good. And yeah, we'll get on the buzzer and talk to the consigners first of all, and then and the underbidders. So.
But the beauty of the thing with that is that if you're sitting back and you think you're going to be a chance of getting one a little bit cheaper than what the reserve is, be careful, because you won't get the phone call if you're not the losing bidder. The losing bidder are the people that get the phone calls. Is that right? That's
right. Yeah. So we don't see the bids even as the auctioneers. We will only be able to get in contact with the underbidder. So if you're super keen, make sure you bid, and then you either get on the market, and they're pretty close.
There's 3 of them.
Some of them are very close.
3 of them knocking on the door, and 2 of them are at a nice, healthy reserve. Lot 1 is at a massive, not reserve, price, I should say. Lot 1's at a massive price, but he was a lovely colt, I must say, $43,000 though. And he's a real goer. But, they've all got very, very good pedigrees, these horses.
That's right. He's a beautiful horse, that Lot 1. So, we'll still get on the phones and see if we can get a result for people, even though they but this side of it's still good fun, and it's a way to market. I mean, we didn't have many this time, but spring sale we had a lot more horses, and hopefully we can do these once a quarter or a couple of times a year.
Yep.
I think Mark's idea is to do them once a quarter, so he's looking for some more horses in autumn. Probably have a mixed sale then.
The summer one, so Daniel, they're going to do them seasonal, so each season, but unfortunately the summer one fell over just through numbers. We did have some numbers, that's fair to say, but not enough to warrant to do the sale. Those horses will carry on to the autumn ones.
Yeah, I've got to talk to Bardo. We didn't get much interest, and that's fine. I mean, it's a pretty busy time for everyone at the moment, I'm sure, and even us getting the yearling sale catalogues out and the new website and this ready to run. So there's been a bit going on, but that probably got lost in the communications. But yeah, we hope to have something in early March between the two yearling sales.
I'll have to have Daniel on for that one, because it's a lot more fun when everything's going ping, 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 Daniel. I can tell you, we have no idea what's going on. This one's a little bit boring just at the minute. I must say, if you're sitting back and you want to bid, have some bids for us. Give us a bit of excitement. It's when they go blue all the time, it makes a lot of action, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, even in saying that, I enjoyed listening to you and Daniel go through the horses. And that's that was really good. Actually, we should do that before the sales next time, Paul, as well.
Yeah,
awesome.
Well, then people are aware of them, their pedigrees. I keep learning them. I do keep learning. I thought I had everything under control, and then as soon as I've gone live, I'm like, I got nothing going under control here today, and including complete dropout. But thankfully, I saved the day on that. I'm not sure why that happened, but it did happen. And myself and Daniel, a few of these horses, mate, you and I know back from the day, they're beautiful bloodlines, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you go back sort of 15 years, I guess. Well, even to the turn of the century, a lot of those good fillies that were sort of running around in those at that point in time, and there's been obviously a number of seasons, but since then, but they're all starting to produce their own stock, and it's there's some nice type. And I mean, I know there's only 5 in it, but even still, some of those horses, the horses that are in the catalogue, there's a few of them that have got top class fillies or mares in their pedigrees. It's pretty hard to come by. Not every day you rock up the sales and you've got Group One winners in the family. So
the auction has actually ended, Daniel. While you were going there, and no disrespect to you, it wasn't you that done that, but it has ended. So unfortunately, we haven't sold any, but we do have 3 knocking on the door of the reserves.
Yeah, not yet. So I'm going to jump off the phone. Look, thanks so much, guys, and really enjoyed your recovery of it again. As I say, as you said, it's more exciting when they're all pinging, but no, hopefully we can get a result for these guys, and really appreciate them supporting us with another ready to run. So I thank those people the consigners that backed us, and thank yourselves. I better go and get on the phone.
So myself and Daniel and anyone that's tuned in, if they want to talk about the weekend's racing, we might just have a quick chat up, because I don't think I'm going to be doing on loose lines on Wednesday, because just a little bit going on, and I may not be able to get it done. But firstly, the greyhounds was sensational, and go to the Watchdog app and watch a replay of Aston Rupee. Just a super smart dog, isn't he, mate? They've called him the fastest dog on the planet, and that's because he's run the track. He's got the track record at Sandown, and he's broken 29 seconds for the 515. And to put that in perspective for the harness folk, he's done it twice in his short career, and there's only a couple of other dogs that have actually been able to break it once. He's actually broken it 3 times, because he did it in a match race sort of setting. But he's just a super dog, and he had absolutely no right to win that race on Friday night. He began well, but the dog on his outside began better, and he ended up behind the leader. And if he was in a harness race, the sprint lane just did not come. He was racing at Gloucester Park at Ballarat, and there was no sprint lane. And he had to check off heels, get around the outside, and he still managed to get up and win, which was just quite remarkable. And look, I think he can win the Cup. He's going to need everything to go right, but if he gets clear air, there's not a dog in that race that can match him. No, I do tend to agree with you on that one. I'm actually going to change screens. We'll go back to Saturday night now, mate. Because I've got, have I got it up? Yeah, I have there. We don't have to go too quick. We encourage anyone that's online still watching us. We've got good numbers still watching us. Please feel free to get involved in your highlights of the Breeders' Crown and what you saw. Same with the guys on YouTube, but we'll just go reasonably quickly through them, but Honolulu Bay, devastating.
I was on the radio here Saturday morning doing the harness show, and I don't ever really do this. I don't really tend to get hyped up. I basically declared this horse the next big thing. I said he'd just win the race on Saturday night, and the performance he put in was just out of this world. Like, it was staggering how good he went. They went 154. They run 54.7 the last half, and he's come from well back in the field when they got past that 800 metre mark, and he's 3 deep. And Sal had to get into him to sort of get up there before the 400 metre mark, and then he'd run past Mark Dan at turning for home. He was a really good horse with Akey, and he's gone now to Emma and Clayton, and he's probably just refined a little bit, but he's something else. He is a real racehorse.
Very good. I've got stuff going on everywhere here at the minute. My bride was standing there at the end of the stairwell with a smirk on her face. I don't know if I'm in the good books or not. As soon as I say I'm live, they run away, my family. But yeah, no, he is a serious horse, and he was probably the start of the night, I think. So yeah, he really put the riding on the wall with a very, very good win, and the likes. So it was terrific. The Woodland Stud, I was there as a guest of Woodland Stud. Mark Hughes took me as his +1. I don't know how people look at that when two blokes walk in holding hands as a +1. It makes people a little bit uncomfortable. But this was a cracking race. I love the trotters. First of a double for B. Lilly. Yeah. Brilliantly driven by C. Alfred. Took the sit again. It's been about his undoing in the last couple of times, yet he's consistently doing it. Obviously, Chris has got a plan. I'd love to know what it is. But I think he's got a real opinion of him. Kiang Ninja was terrific. A little bit of the forgotten horse, and Parisian Artiste again showed what he's made of. That's for sure.
They're a cracking group of 3-year-old trotters. Hotspur's probably the one there that he didn't really didn't go all that flash there on Saturday night. But the basically looking at the field, you look at the top 7 and then you've got a horse like Marengo Bay, who's he's very raw. But those, there's some really nice 3-year-old trotters. There's probably not one absolute gun like a top seed sort of thing. They're all pretty even, but when I say they're pretty even, they're all very, very good. And Zeus he's been pretty consistently among the good ones of his age the last 2 seasons, and he thoroughly deserved that victory.
I listen to participants when they say things. The rap that Anthony Butt has got on Hotspur, I think he's run come to an end. He's had a pretty arduous campaign, winning 2 derbies. But the rap that he has on that horse, I think he is a horse to follow. For mine, watching him the other night, he was a tired horse because he was gone like 500 out. He wasn't travelling. He'd lost the back. I forget he was getting a card up in. Oh, Mufasa Metro, and he couldn't keep up with his back for 500 out. So yeah, I think he's a horse that will definitely be better for going to the paddock. I believe.
It just goes to show that they're not machines, and they just can't keep performing at that elite level, particularly right. the young ones. They've got to have some sort of respite. And when you consider that, he won the derby, the heat in the final over the 2600, and then another heat of the Breeders' Crown, and then this final. Like, it's a big ask, and at some point it's you paid up for the races, and if the horse is fitting well, it's hard not to go into them and race for the money, but sometimes it just doesn't work out.
No, just a bit touchy. I keep saying it's a very beautifully named horse, bred by the Pools, Rhiannon Park Standardbreds. They sold the brother to this horse last year at the sales, and from memory, I think it was around the 50,000. I can't actually go to that website. Probably could on that one. Don't know how to drive it. It's too far away. It's a new computer, so I can't do it to you because you'll black out. So I'll leave it with that. can you believe the run of this filly? I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I on the radio show I usually take a multi for the listeners. I took Honolulu Bay and I took it into Tough Love, and the reason I did that was because I thought Tough Love would lead, and I thought she'd just a bit touchy, it'd be just too far back. I thought from 13, it's even if she did everything right, I thought she's just going to find it a little tricky to get into the race. They went hard enough early, 29.8 the first quarter, but they really tapped the brakes down the straight, and they didn't really quicken up all that much down the back. They only went 30.1 the third quarter. But she was just enormous. Like when she loomed up about the 300, 350, I thought, well, I'm gone. She's just going to run straight past it. Chris Svenozzi had sort of gone for Tough Love. I think Kate was just swinging on it, just trying to get around the home corner and then just let it go. And it was just arrogant, just a really, really arrogant victory. Well done to the team there and a good effort. And, yeah, I think she's got the world at her feet.
Yeah, definitely. Like the quarters, 29.8, 32.1, 30.1, and then the last quarter, 28.7. And, yeah, she was just airborne. And she seems to have manners. If we had a knock on a couple of Emma and Clayton's trotters, they can leave their manners behind. This filly, no, she definitely seems to have her manners and have them well and truly in check. She is a lovely filly, so I'm going to actually hopefully be at Dean and Blanche's tomorrow, so timing will be everything. So with Mark Barton's going to be in Victoria, so hopefully come along. They don't knock him, no one knocks him, but I don't think anyone respects how good this horse actually is. Plymouth Chubb, he's just the real deal.
I just watched him again there on Saturday night. I mean, he just looks like a 4-year-old. He doesn't look like a 2-year-old. He just looks like a 4-year-old trotter. His action, I mean, he hung in and he shied a little bit there. He did a couple of things wrong, sort of up the straight, but I mean, he still had a beat. Like the best couple that we've had against him. His Courage Stride, as I said, Let Us Trot was a huge run. More Wanted was good. Kian Chucky was brave enough, but just too good. Like it'll be interesting to see what happens when he gets to a 4-year-old. Like whether they catch up to him, whether he sort of plateaus out, sort of thing. But he's clearly the benchmark 2-year-old trotter. And he's going to be, I assume Vic Brett, he'll probably obviously head to that, and he's got that at his mercy as well. So, make hay while the sun shines.
Courage Stride, I think he's had a pretty arduous campaign as well. He seems to be doing, he's been up for a little while, doing a good job, and he probably just looked like he lacked that high speed that last little bit. But you highlighted there when we're doing the sales catalogue before, Let Us Trot. He's a lovely, just keeps improving. He does a great job. He was actually prepared last year by Ricky Auction, and Ricky had King City. Ricky didn't have a great carnival actually for the Breeders' Crown. A lot of the New South Wales guys didn't really have a great carnival, but they've already had their Breeders' Challenge series, so they're probably, it's going to take a lot of managing. I spoke to Clayton Tonkin the other day. I was there for the Burning Questions, and he said it now has to be managed. There has to be a management process with it, because it's just ridiculous how hard it's going to be. Captain Treacherous out of Copper, good one. Richard Matthews and his wife were there the other night. I saw them early on and I wished them the best. They probably didn't need any wishing or any luck or anything like that, because he is just an absolute machine catcher wave.
Freak. Absolute freak of a horse. This is just... I know Andy had sort of had fairly big raps on him. He, sort of said he's, one of the best he's had. Can't argue with him. He's still got a lot to learn, and to become a more refined racehorse, because he certainly, as he gets older, he won't be able to have those little quirks. He needs to be, iron them out. But I'm sure that they'll work it out with him. But again, just absolutely dominant. Did everything everything he needed to do to win the race. I think he's going out for a spell now. I think he's not going to the Vic bred from what I heard or what I read somewhere. So he deserves to have a break. Good 150k into the bank after that win. Yeah, absolute. He's an absolute jet. And I thought there's some nice horses in that race, but they just couldn't match it with him.
No, he's bred by Ben Stud, so you'd imagine he was potentially. He might be New South Wales bred. I don't know. So some horses. I think Interest Free's 2-year-old campaign has been enormous. There's a lot gets said about if they were trained by Emma Stewart, they'd start a lot shorter and all the rest. I got no doubt if this horse was trained by Emma Stewart, Interest Free, he'd get a lot more fanfare because he's done a great job this whole campaign. He won the heat of this. I see Glenn got fined and suspended, and that's a blot on Glenn, and Glenn does do that a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what he got suspended for, but he can do that. But he is a ripping little horse that's had a great stellar 2-year-old career, and I hope for Connections comes back better. Flash Jimmy's done an awesome job because he shouldn't be racing the way he drives. He's just a shocking, all over the shot horse who just does a great job. And Brutally Handsome for the Tyndales. They would be stoked. I was lucky enough to be at Maryborough when they won the heat. But I would say that exceeded all expectations the other night to run second in a Group 1 from 7, coming from last. And he was never going to beat Catch a Wave, but he was taking some ground off it.
Yeah, picks up 48 grand for running second. Was that 126 to 1 on the fixed odds? Like it's that's as good as winning. I mean, you got to win like 8 or 9 races to make 48 grand over the country fronts, and you've picked it up running second. So it was a great effort to run second, and onwards and upwards going forward for him.
He's a strong horse. He is Vic bred eligible, and he is actually quite a strong horse who's just come back from a fair spell. So the Vic bred probably comes at the right time for him. He won't be tired. I reckon he'll be cherry ripe for it by the time he has a couple of weeks freshen up, and then I think the heats maybe at Shepparton. I think they are at Shep for the 2-year-olds. They are. So it'll be something to look forward to. Macca will be getting excited about that. That's for sure. Do we have to ask who's going to be the 3-year-old colt of the year in Victoria and probably in Australia?
If you do, you're asking the wrong bloke because I know the answer.
Yeah.
He looked a little vulnerable turning for home. I thought Yambuckian was half a chance turning, and I thought there might have been a couple of the red light was coming up, and he might have been out of tickets, but he fought on and held Yambuckian over the last little bit to win, and certainly the best one this year for sure.
It was a boring race. Very, very nothing happened. Hats off to Mick Stanley. He's on $126 pop, but he rated it. He felt the tempo. There was none there. Goes around. If he sits last, he would have ran last. Instead, I don't know. I don't have the stake money. I don't know why I don't, because I'm on the same website as you. But my stake 12 grand for Rock and Roll Do. And he didn't knock him around, even though he went around to the death, because it was such a slowly run race. It was a good hit out. There's no problems there. But if he's not Vic bred, so that'll be it for him. Probably he'll probably go to the paddock as well. Rock and Roll Do. But he's a lovely horse. He's a horse of the future, that's for sure.
Yeah. He's got a stable of good quality horses. They don't have anyone that's that can't run. So I'm sure they'll be looking to some good races down the track.
Spoke before about Ben Stud and the likes. Unfortunately for Connections, Tough Tilly didn't take part in the Villawood Breeders' Crown for the 3-year-old fillies, but it was all over, wasn't it? It was just easy done. She's just sensational, this filly, isn't she?
I think we probably potted her a little bit with the 2 seconds. It's sort of, she had all those wins, and she got beat twice, and you sort of think, oh, what's going on here? But she just as soon as Sal pulled out on her from the back of the field, you could tell she was just going to win. Like it wasn't even a thought of how much work is she going to have to do in this last 800 metres or so. As soon as he pulled the rein and went, it was over, and she was still 15 or 18 metres off the lead by that stage. But you could just tell that she was just going to loop him and win the race. The only concern I had, I reckon Joanna, was for about 4 or 5 strides on it when she was on her back. I thought, she might be able to rip over the top of it. But once they got to about the 200 metre mark, and Sal got to the death, then cleared out, it was just game over. I think I put a tweet out. She is the best 3-year-old filly, or even 2-year-old filly, I think I've ever seen. There's obviously a few back in the day that were pretty handy, but this one, just how she does it is so very impressive. And to be fair, she probably deserves to be undefeated, but she's not. But I think she hasn't missed a place, so she can't be. You can't be too hard on her. 17 starts, 14 wins, 3 placings, and just under $500,000 in the bank.
I liked what Clayton Tonkin, someone said, is she the best filly? The question must have been, is she the best filly ever, or something to that? And I don't know actually who asked it, but his answer was, I don't know about the rest, but she's the best filly we've had. So yeah, I think that was I reckon that's a great answer, because people say these things. Tailor-Made Lombo was she was a great racehorse.
That's the one that always sticks in my mind, and it's very hard to compare generations when there's such a big gap between them. But I mean, she transcended a lot of transcended racing, harness racing in some respects. Just you take on the boys and those sort of feats, and ran second in a Miracle Mile, and got beaten panels by Christian Cullen, but still ran second in a Miracle Mile and beat some very nice horses. So yeah, she's one of the best fillies I've ever seen. But this one, if she isn't in front of her, she's very close to it.
Yeah, this filly's got a long way to go though, because Tailor-Made Lombo was a champion broodmare as well as she was a champion aged mare as far as a racehorse, and then a broodmare. So I think well done. You watch the thoroughbreds, and you see these people carrying on, because I know they've got cameras. They're going to get their enjoyment and watch them and all the likes. Bruce Edwards and his family and his group were there with Act Now, and I can tell you Bruce was on edge before the race, but they were very, very happy after the race. Same with Bill and Ann, with the Lauriston Park. Anne, I doubt she'd be able to talk for 3 days afterwards, because she was roaring that hard at her. There's no cameras. There's no. I mean, they're amongst peers. They're all the same. People there. They know each other and all the rest. It was no big flu thing. It was just enjoyment, and it was very, very good to see. That's for sure. The Ride High Breeders' Crown for the 2-year-old fillies in Cypher. One was a good win. This is, I think, the 2-year-old fillies especially is interesting year. There's no standout.
Yeah, this was probably the race of the night in terms of action and unpredictability. I guess it wasn't just get to the front and just dictates. There was plenty of moves, sort of particularly early on in the race, and this one in Cypher certainly got beaten at Geelong from memory a couple of starts ago. I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, that was a Tatlow. That's one of the best form races going around, that Edgar Tatlow.
Yeah, and it was like I remember actually. I thought I actually picked it to win that race, because it was the one that was really heavily supported in fixed odds that particular week. I think it was backed in from $10 into about $2.60 as it ended up getting rolled by Irish Black Label, who unfortunately didn't even get through to the final after a poor run in the semi. But it's a good bunch of fillies, but there's no you change the barrier draw and that, and you get a completely different 12 horse result. And it was just that sort of race. I know Emma had a mortgage on it, but with the number of runners that she had, but it was still a good race. They all went out there driving to try and win the race. And that's what you want. And in the end, the $6.50 pop got up.
Yep, definitely. It was open for slow.
I will say, Sounds Perfect was pretty unlucky not to win it.
And also, More Vita was an awesome run.
Yeah,
it is actually. I think it's a filly for next year, a 3-year-old More Vita, if it makes a little bit of progression. Because seeing it at Maryborough that day, it's a beautiful filly, but big. I reckon it's got another 6 months to grow into it. Queen Alida, 3-year-old fillies. Bangles is the sister to Just a Bit Touchy as well. This the 3-year-old fillies. The trotters, I think, are just going from strength to strength, and she is clearly the standout 3-year-old filly this year. I think Queen Elida.
Yeah, didn't win by a big margin, but they don't.
She never does.
They don't pay on margin. They only pay if you get there first. So certainly the best. The top one filly of the 3-year-old girls this year. But certainly they're an even lot. There's not I wouldn't say she's an absolute. Miles in front of the rest of them. That's they're on their right day. They could certainly knock her off. But she's been doing superbly well this season.
Yeah, no, good little race. And then Majida taking out the last. It was a little bit of a ho-hum sort of race, I thought, for the end of what was a pretty good carnival. But there was a little bit put on it when Cam Hart went to the front, but it was always probably going to happen. And Majida just sat on its back and come back to some decent form. But it was interesting, a bit of the commentary. They were saying D-Day for Majida, and I'm like, no, I don't think she'll ever have a D-Day. She's a beautiful filly. If she doesn't measure up anymore, well, that's fine. Well done to Connections, because she's done a brilliant job for them. The boys, the Johnson.
How can you be potting a horse that's had 33 starts, won 20 races, and over $500,000 in stakes, and you're trying to say it's D-Day?
So some of the commentary just amazes me. Sometimes I find it.
I didn't think I think we mentioned last week on Loose Lines, I sort of thought Amazing Dream was, in terms of class, just thrown into the race, and obviously, I think might be pretty well coming to the end of its tether for this campaign. But you couldn't possibly pot Majida. She had the perfect draw. Greg Sugars knows her like the back of his hand, and got the job done. So the just under 30k hit kicks into the bank, but she's a super filly, a super mare now, I should say.
Can I just say, be wary. Amazing Dream will win next start. Whenever she drops back to mares races, she's just not. I don't know what it is. Whether she knows she's racing girls and she just takes a pedal off. I don't know how it works with her, but she's a beautiful filly, and I'd love to have her. That's a bit of a wrap. For the weekend. You get yourself all organised for Sandown, mate.
Yeah, I've got work for the next couple of days, which is good, so I don't have to. It'll keep me busy and occupied for the next couple of days. Trials on Thursday night, and then get ready for pretty much the biggest night of my life from a racing perspective, either being a participant or a worker or anything like that. I mean, this is the biggest night of my life in that field, so really looking forward to it.
You'll be fine, mate. It'll be a ripper night, and the coverage there is second to none, I believe. Will you be on the Sky Central? I think they're opening that up. I think that's going to that as well, is it not?
I haven't been given any info just yet. I know it's going to be on Channel 7, Mate, or which one of those channels. I'm not sure exactly which one yet. It'll be on the Sky Active. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be all over the world. So. Don't stuff it up.
No, we might have a little drive-by too for Harness Racing New South Wales. You where the Inter-Dominion starts this weekend?
I had no idea.
It's disgusting. If they want a hand, more than happy, we'll put our hand up. We can do it. We could do it remotely.
I did obviously there was a bit of vitriol on Twitter about it, and it's people saying about it, it's absolutely right. I mean, it just beggars belief that there hasn't been anything mentioned about it. I mean, no social media engagement in terms of Twitter or Facebook or anything. I mean, you wouldn't have a clue. The only time you sort of find out anything about it was that a couple of times when the rankings and that came out, and there was a little bit of talk about the quality of the horses that were in the field that had qualified to make the series, but it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, Victoria, we've been pumping up, Breeders' Crown and Redwood and all the Victoria Cup ad nauseum because they're the big events. This is the biggest event in the sport. You wouldn't even know it's on.
No, we might try and reach out to some of them. We might do some interviews. We'll see what happens.
It's just disappointing. I'd love to know what the answer is as to why it hasn't there hasn't been that push for it. Why? Because you're letting the industry down if you're not, putting in for like. I know more about the Inter-Dominion that's going to be in Victoria than I do about the one that's in New South Wales, and it's a year away.
Very good answer, mate. I don't mind that. All right, buddy. I think that's about it. We got a couple racing Wednesday night. That's not why I won't be doing On Loose Lines. I think I'll be with Mark Barton in Ballarat. But
I need a night off because I've got to find sleep somewhere.
Two-year-old having his first start, so I doubt we'll be doing On Loose Lines. We might have a week off from On Loose Lines this week. Might take a bit of pressure off me as well, mate, and we'll go from there. I might do some interviews if something happens, but we'll work it out. But it'll be fine. All right, mate. Thank you very much for joining me.
No worries, mate.